Is it too thick? Does it fit in your collection? And is it worth the price? Let's find out. Hello, welcome to Swiss Watch Gang. Today we're going to cover one of the most talked about watches released this year, the Tudor Black Bay Pro. As I own two Tudor watches, the GMT and Bronzo, as well as the Rolex GMT and Explorer 2 in a white dial, I will give you my perspective on the watch. We'll compare a few of them and I will also walk you through the specs on the Black Bay Pro. Now when this watch came out, I immediately thought of the Rolex Explorer 2. There's no denying it and no way to hide that it takes inspiration from the reference 1655, also nicknamed the Steve McQueen you can see here. The most comments about the new Tudor are about its thickness. In a nutshell, I can say that it's fine. As I own watches of all shapes and sizes, I always emphasize the point that you should try on a watch in person before you buy it. This is the best way to really see if it's for you or not. Now this watch has a thickness of 14.75mm, which isn't thin, don't get me wrong. But due to the 39mm case diameter and the beautifully integrated bracelet, it wears smaller and more compact. For comparison, the thickness of the Tudor Black Bay GMT is 14.55mm, but due to the 41mm case of the GMT, it wears a lot bigger. Let's really compare the thickness if you own a modern Explorer 2 like I do, the reference 226570. The Rolex is 12.3mm high, but again, due to the bigger case size at 42mm, it wears bigger and more flat than the Tudor Black Bay Pro. Usually if a watch is at the 39mm case size, even if it's a bit thicker, it wears fine. To conclude, I can tell you that you won't notice the whole case thickness problem after you wear it for a bit. You might even like it. Don't listen to everyone saying and grabbing your attention with the thickness, go try it on and make your own opinion. If you're a fan of the vintage or even the modern Explorer 2, this is a great alternative, especially at more than half the retail price. On my 18.5mm wrist, the watch sits great. It has a good lug-to-lug of 47.7mm, so smaller wrists can also wear it. Also, don't forget that the sapphire crystal is domed, adding quite a bit to the so-called thickness. Here you can also see the size comparison between all of them together. From left to right, we've got the 43mm Tudor Bronze, the 42mm Rolex Explorer 2, the 41mm Tudor GMT and the new Tudor Pro at 39mm. I always liked Tudor because of the more youthful feeling the brand gives out. Buying a Rolex nowadays is getting harder and harder, so having quality alternatives is great. Would I wait months or even a year for this watch? No. But keep in mind that I already own the Explorer 2 as well as the GMT models from Rolex and Tudor. If you can get it at a decent waiting time, go for it, and I also wouldn't buy it at a premium. The dial side of the new Tudor is cool. It has this vintage look with the faux patina lumen fixed bezel. The bezel is brushed, features alternating numbers and dashes to indicate the 24 hours of the day or the second time zone. This watch is basically a GMT with a fixed bezel. It even features the same movement inside as the Tudor GMT from 2018, the so-called manufacturer caliber MT5652. Tudor founded the movement manufacturer Kenissi in 2016 and has since then partnered with Breitling and now even Chanel, who own a percentage of it. It's a well-functioning COSC-certified automatic mechanical movement with a bidirectional rotor and approximately 70 hours of power reserve. When you pull the crown out, you wind the watch in a neutral position if you haven't worn it more than 70 hours. When you pull it out to the first position, you can set the local hour hand. I usually use the second or longer hour hand on the old GMTs for the second time zone. If you want to set two time zones, you essentially set the second time zone with the long yellow hour hand with the indexes on the bezel. Afterwards, you put the crown to the first position and set your local time. That way you can always see if the second time zone is on the 24-hour scale and if it's day or night time. The black dial has a slightly grain texture to it and it's very legible, and from the looks of it, I'd say it's the same as on the Tudor GMT. There is a triangular shaped 12-hour marker, rectangular markers for 6 and 9 o'clock, and the others are round. These are not printed or held in a polished metal frame. They're actually solid little blocks of luminous ceramic. The superluminova on this model shines bright green and is actually really strong, so that's definitely a big plus from my side. It's always cool when you walk into a room and the lume shines bright. Non-watch people are kinda puzzled about it, but if you meet a watch guy, you can geek out together. The dial features a few inscriptions like the logo, water resistance, and the fact that it's a chronometer. Overall, the stainless steel case is well built, nothing less is to be expected from Tudor obviously. From the front, bezel is satin finish with the polished sides, The lugs feature a satin finish on top and polished edges and sides. On the screw-down crown we can find a Tudor rose logo reminiscent of the origin of the brand. It's well proportioned, but it has no crown guards, which will be really cool to see one day. The oyster bracelet is beautifully integrated into the lugs and slopes well down the wrist. All the links have a satin finish on top and polished sides. The sides also feature rivets. Some people don't like them, but I think they look fine, and also they add continuity to the design. What's awesome about this model is the clasp. The T-fit clasp has an adjustment of about 8 mm, which is very convenient. You just gently pull the bracelet down, extend it, and you're good to go. It works the same for the other direction. The clasp also features the Tudor shield on top, and below you've got plenty of space for your nail to open the clasp. The opening and closing of the clasp is smooth, has a nice click to it due to the spring-loaded ceramic ball bearings, which won't wear down as much over time. If you want to buy this model, I advise you to buy it on the bracelet. You can also get it on a hybrid rubber and leather strap or a black NATO strap with a yellow line running down the middle. Having the bracelet is a good way to start, but I know that wearing it on a NATO is also comfortable. The price for this watch on the bracelet is 3,800 Swiss francs and 3,500 if you buy one of the other strap options. Tudor is positioning themselves very well, and at a sub $4,000 price point, they're in my opinion hard to beat. This watch was lent to me by Biochronometry here in Zurich, the official retailer for Tudor, Rolex, Patek Philippe and other beautiful brands. One of my trusted retailers, so go check them out. If you own one, please let me know in the comments below what you think about the proportions, and if you don't, tell me, would you buy one for your collection? Hit that like and subscribe button so we hit 100,000 subscribers this year, share this video if you found it useful, and always, I'll see you guys next week.